Hello, welcome back to the PixelExile Weekend Post.
Poop.
The old pupe. We skipped a week last week, but that was so we could do the Midnight Fusion podcast.
Yeah, I got back into that. Also, the news was just nothing really cool had happened.
Nah, news was kind of old. Well, there was. Was there anything? No, there wasn't. Nothing of note anyway. So
Yeah.
we skipped a week, but we're back. There's only two of us this week. My name is Sam, and with me is
Josh, like before.
No, did you say your name?
I did.
Did you? Fuck, I can't remember. I think I might be going slightly insane. I can't remember.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. Not really. I haven't done a hell of a lot. Anyway, we should probably talk about some gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Josh, you go first.
Oh, so that's behind the scenes. We already decided that, and you're just telling everybody how we're doing things here.
Yep. Why not? Fuck it.
Yep. We always decide before we record. So everybody knows how professional we are.
Yep.
How amazingly professional our unprofessionalism is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, so if whoever's watching, if you've seen previous episodes of this, you know, a lot of the times my news comes from Niche Gamer, because Niche Gamer is like my morning newspaper in a sense. You know, I open it up, I see what's going on there, because it's usually stuff that I don't find elsewhere, so shout out to them, I guess. And if you've been listening to any of our other shows, anything, the Hearthstone that me and Sam do, Sam and I, or I hate censorship and the whole political correct BS that's been happening to games over the years. And there's a bit of backstory, because this game, Criminal Girls 2 Party Favor, like there's article was posted on Niche Gamer on June 1st, and it mentions some of the changes they had to make for the Western release of the game. Basically, they redrew the art, changed the punishment mode will be framed as motivation, no motivation scene dialogue, so whatever was said in the punishment mode will not be said in the motivation mode. And it was the same old song and dance. Here's a game, someone thinks it's too sexy, or they're afraid that SJ Dubs or Soccer Moms or whoever is going to complain about the game, and then nobody will buy the game, or the game just won't get released in I shouldn't say American territories, in English-speaking territories. You know, that's what happens every time. They do this shit, and then everyone says, why are you censoring the game? Well, and they always have some bullshit excuse, at least in my opinion, it always seems like a bullshit excuse. Like, oh, we just feel we want to make it more accessible to this audience and this audience, da-da-da-da-da. So, yeah, again, same old song and dance. Sam, you've heard me bitch about it time and time again.
I mean, it's probably not going to hit a huge demographic anyway. I mean, it's not something that I would buy. So right. I'm not sure why they're making so many changes when it's probably, I mean, it only seems to be a thing in America. Well, yeah, it's basically when games come across to America. From memory, a lot of games were like, hey, we're going to bring this across to Europe. And I'm pretty sure nobody in Europe ever bitches about, wow, you don't hear about anyone in Europe bitching about boobs or a lot of violence. See, that's the other thing. There's a lot of violence in some games. I never hear an American complain about the amount of violence in video game.
It's usually the soccer moms. It's always the same thing. Oh, these games are too violent. I don't want my kid playing this. Mom, I need the new Grand Theft Auto. No, Jimmy, you're 6. Mom, I need it or I'm gonna cry. Okay. Fine. Yeah. But this time it's, because like I said, that article came out on June 1st. Same old song and dance, same old responses. So it's like, oh, Josh, why are you talking about that? June 1st was last month. It's August 6th now. Well, on August 5th, there was a new article came out. Criminal Girls 2 has been denied rating in Germany and Australia. says here that coming from NIS, America has confirmed that Criminal Girls 2 Party Favorites has been rejected a rating by the German Classification Board or the USK. Coming from this, NIS America will not be able to release the game in Germany. The game has received a PEGI 16 rating for the rest of Europe and will be available in other regions. Criminal Girls 2 was also blocked from a rating in Australia. To me, so I'm not too familiar with what's going on in Germany, but I am familiar with how the Australian government and the Australian rating board for video games, how they look at video games. Like, they had Grand Theft Auto 5 banned from stores. They pushed for something where they wanted to put like stickers on copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 and other games that say like this game encourages misogyny.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't remember hearing anything about that. I know.
I'll if it comes up to be a thing, I'll do some extra research after we're done with the episode and find stuff. But like it never came to be, but I believe it was talked about. Like, oh, what can we do to stop people from buying these games? Because Grand Theft Auto 5 causes misogyny because you can kill women in the game, but let's constantly ignore the fact that you can also kill men because that destroys the argument. But yeah, so from my personal perspective, it's like they censor the game to try and appease the what's the word I'm looking for? The PC police. Or the people who say that games can't have this, misogyny, violence, da-da-da-da-da. So they change and edit Criminal Girls 2. Then they say, here, we already knew you weren't going to like it, Australia, so we changed it. So maybe you will like it. And they still don't, it's still not getting a classification. Maybe it's time to just stop with this crap. Just because it always seems like they're asking for more and more and more. To where it'll be like, oh, here's this game that, you see the Japanese version of the game and it's some like kind of, sexy game with big-breasted anime girls and, has the touchscreen and all the stuff that like Criminal Girls or Gun Gal will have. And then you play like the Australian release and it's like all the female characters have been replaced with kangaroos and it's just you throwing fruit at them. Like they get a completely different game. Even the South Park game had to be censored.
They did, yeah. If I wanted to buy it on a console, the version I would have got, a few scenes would have been replaced by a crying koala.
Yeah.
Which they put in specifically because they were like, well, if you're not going to give it, we'll take it out. And of course the dumb thing is, well, not so much anymore, but for quite a while, pretty much any game that didn't get a rating in New Zealand would get... No, sorry, let me try that again. The rating that a game would get in Australia would be the same rating that we would get here. But if Australia didn't like a game, they're like, no, we're not going to give it a classification. It'd be the same for us as well. They'd be like, well, Australia said it was bad, so we shouldn't have it either.
Yeah, see, that's just ridiculous. Like, if Australia wants to be super Puritans about it, I don't know. I can say like, okay, you don't want to classify this game, whatever. What I think they should do to be more fair, because I'm sure there's people in Australia that would like to buy the uncensored version of this game. I don't own a Vita. I don't know if it's region locked or if you can get an English language option on the Japanese version, but just release the game over there, give it whatever evil like rated AM for adult misogyny or some crap like that, and just don't put it on the shelves. Just keep it behind the counter. Because anybody who's looking for the game, like if they're so concerned that kids might see the game on the shelf, then don't keep it on the shelf. Because I guarantee you, anybody that goes to the store wanting to buy Criminal Girls 2 will just walk in there and be like, hey, do you have a copy of Criminal Girls 2? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, mate. Can I see your ID? Oi, lovely. Here's your copy of Criminal Girls 2. Yeah. Here's your free Fosters.
Well, the other funny thing is, I mean, the main reason before that they didn't let some games in this because they didn't actually have an 18 rating for quite a while. The highest you could go was 16. Fortunately, they've now put in an R18, rating, so some more games have come through. But I don't know, it's really weird. It sounds like it's like one guy who does most of the ratings board stuff, and apparently it sounds like he's a real pain in the dick. So
yeah, just
What
Puritan
if
and
they
no
get
fun
someone
because
else in? I'm sure it'll be alright.
video games still, like, from what I can see, still suffer from the mentality of video games used to be considered, like, back in the NES days or Atari days, it was a kid's toy. Video
Yeah.
games were for kids. It isn't like that anymore, but a lot of older people still see it as that. Like, I don't remember who said it. It was some comedian. It's like, you know what? No, I'm glad that mature rated games exist because, I'm in my 30s. Sometimes I have a bad day and I want to go home and just shoot things or rip someone's spinal cord out of their body because it's a
As you
stress
do.
relief. It's like I had
Yeah.
a bad day.
Hmm. I'm
Or
just
I want to, touch giant anime boobs on my Vita screen.
exactly.
Whatever you do to relieve stress.
Yeah. I'm trying to find why it was denied in Australia, but I can't find anything on it.
It's going to have to be this next thing because, like I said, I'm pretty sure they talked about putting a this game is misogynistic, or this game encourages misogyny. Like, they wanted to put that sticker on Grand Theft Auto 5, and then they ended up just having it banned from stores.
Mm.
And I remember idiots on Twitter, like that Macintosh guy, was all like, "Oh, it's not denying, artistic freedom if they don't want to sell some ugly game on their shelves." And damn full and well, if it was one of their crappy ass indie games that has like zero gameplay, but of course, promotes social justice and political correctness, and it was denied shelf space in Australia, they would go off on how terrible Australia is and how behind the times Australia is and how everyone in Australia needs to get with the times. It's 2016. It's current year.
Yeah.
I can't stand those people. Because here's the thing. I don't like the games that they're always bragging about. I find them boring. But I feel that those games have every right to exist
Oh
as
yeah,
much as the games that I play.
definitely. I mean, basically at the moment, it's a real pain. Is the company? Well, the big one of the big companies that has video games is kind of like your Walmart, I suppose. They a couple of years ago decided they weren't going to sell anything with an R18 rating on it anymore.
Mm.
So there's been quite a few games like Fallout 4 was the last one. I'm like, oh, Fallout 4. It's EB Games or GameStop, I suppose, for you guys. It charges a lot of money.
Yeah, we used to have both until GameStop bought them out.
I mean, they charge the highest they can for a game, like $120+.
Jeez.
Whereas the other, well, I'll name it's called the Warehouse. Nice. It was pretty much is it. It's just a big warehouse full of stuff that you can go and buy. They used to do it. They would do them for like 95, maybe $100, but a lot cheaper. But of course now it's like let's see if I can get this game. Oh, they don't. It's R18. I can't buy it from them.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have, like, back in the late 80s and stuff, stores used to have, or at least video rental places, you had the back room where all the adult stuff was. Just go back to that.
Yeah.
Just have it to where it's like, just keep it behind the shelf. I think it was Walmart. They did this in America. I'm not sure if they did it anywhere else, but when people still bought CDs, music CDs, like, they wouldn't carry anything that had a parental advisory sticker on it. And it's just like, who are you trying to protect? Who are you trying to save? All you're doing is sending business to the other record stores.
Yeah.
You're not doing yourself any favors. If some kid sees Eminem CD and has parental advisory on it, he's not going to learn like a million cuss words just by looking at the case. And that's what I think they should just do with these games. Just keep them behind a shelf and maybe give them really just like the title, like the way the Final Fantasy games look in Japan, or at least the way they looked on like the Super Nintendo and the CD cases for PlayStation 1, where it's just a white label and the title of the game. No fancy cover art. So just like a white title and then like pink writing, Criminal Girls 2 Party Favors. That way, and then just keep it behind the shelf. Someone can come in, like, that's my take on it, because I hate censorship. I think any game should be allowed to exist, regardless of what it's about.
Yeah.
And people just trying to control it like this, like first they already edited it. They already made edits to the game so they could get it released. everywhere, and it's still, oh, it's not good enough, and that's the thing that's going to keep happening. It's just going to spiral to where, see, now the edits they already did, like these edits might have been good enough 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but now they're not good enough. It needs to be more edits.
Yeah.
In another 3 years, more edits to where there's no game left. So yeah, that's kind of my rant on that piece. I think it's stupid. I think they need to get over themselves, more or less.
Pretty much. But yeah, but let's go back to a simpler time when we
I
didn't have to worry
love
about this
simpler
shit.
times.
Uh,
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Well, we just didn't know about it, but that's
that's
another
true.
story.
That's true. It was our parents. Yeah, we didn't have to worry. Back in the day, there was a war going on. It was like it was the first console war.
I fought in that war.
I was only partially in it because unfortunately we were not really rich enough to have a console. Plus they were expensive over here too. Like even I think a SNES was like $600 or something. They
Jeez.
were pretty. Yeah, we were basically there's a thing.
Does that come with complimentary giant enemy crab?
There's a thing, and it counts for us as well over here in New Zealand, but they call it the Australia tax. For some reason, as soon as something gets imported across, they add like 10, 15, 20% on top of it.
Oh,
if it's gaming related, anyway. And there's no reason. Yeah, there seems to be no particular reason, and just like, nah, it costs more. Like as I said, a game over here can cost $120+.
No, thanks.
Yeah, which I think maybe equals about 70, 80 of your bucks, but even then that's still more because they're what, $60 for a new game over there?
Yeah, 60.
Yeah. Anyway, back in the day we had the first console war, which was Nintendo versus Sega, or Sega if you're American.
Yeah.
But then it's now coming back because, as some people may be aware, the Nintendo are going to release the NES Classic Edition, which is like a mini NES with 30 games on it.
Which a lot of the games were definitely some of my all-time favorites, for sure.
Do they have a list of the games? Yes,
Not
yes.
on the... Oh, wait.
Oh, it's a very small reading. You've got stuff like Castlevania 2. The original.
See, I don't know. I didn't think they'd put that one on there because of everyone's still all like, "Oh, James Rolfe, Angry Video Game Nerd, said that sucks, so nobody likes it."
Yeah, it's weird that they put this number 2 instead of the original.
Yeah, see, I would have expected they have the original too as well, though.
Do they? Oh, hold on. I'll read through a bit more. They got original Final Fantasy. I'm just reading off a few. Metroid, Tecmo Bowl, Galaga, Super Mario 2. Legend of Zelda's and Zelda 2. Pac-Man, Ghosts and Goblins, Castlevania. Oh, there we go. Castlevania and Castlevania 2.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few.
So pretty much
good games.
Basically all the hits that people remember from the NES, and which also includes, I mean, because they were also hits, but pretty much their entire first-party lineup, all the Marios, the Zeldas. Like it has like Mega Man 2. Like people would argue it's the best Mega Man game on the NES. I would personally say 3. I don't know. I'm always kind of torn between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
3, I liked the. I don't know. It's kind of weird saying gameplay because it's essentially the same gameplay. But in Mega Man 2, it's like I always abuse the metal blades, and I have to tell myself to stop doing that. But then I just do it anyway. Mega Man 3 was no weapons could be abused that much, at least from what I can remember, or at least the way I played it. And I enjoyed the castle more. I will say Mega Man 2 has better music. Mega Man 2 has the better soundtrack, but it's like an A+ versus an A.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still good.
But I would have at least put Mega Man 3 on there. But fortunately for me, if I buy an NES Classic, I have the Legacy Collection on PS4, like Mega Man 1 through 6. So
I mean that's coming out.
And right here though, this one real quick.
Yeah.
To anyone buying the NES, if you buy this NES Classic Edition because you either want to play all the cool old games that old farts like us talk about all the times, or relive Super Mario Brothers 3, because I see on the list it has Star Tropics. If you have not played Star Tropics and you buy this thing, do yourself a favor and play Star Tropics first. That was an amazing game that Nintendo needs to bring back. It was, oh god, I could go on for hours. It's just like one of the coolest. Like
I
it is my favorite NES game.
don't think I've actually played it. I think I've seen
It
screenshots
is.
of it. It's got like a. Is it got like a? No, it's a spaceship game, isn't it?
No, no, no. It's
No.
okay. So real quick, you play as Mike, and your uncle Dr. Jones has invited you to, because his lab's on like an island, sea
Okay.
island, and you go there and it's a top-down view like Zelda, and you walk around town, and you talk to everybody.
Oh, okay.
They're all like, "Oh yeah, Dr. Jones has gone missing." But then when you go into the dungeons where all the fights take place,
Yeah.
it goes into this like it's still kind of a top-down view, but the Mike, the character you play as, is taller, and you move on like a grid, but the enemies move on a grid. So you move like up, down, left, right, and you have a yo-yo
Okay.
that you like whip them with.
Yeah.
And over the game, you get upgrades and you get different weapons.
Sweet.
But it's like, oh, it's just such a fun game. And it's like, then you get to chapter 3 where your submarine thing dies, or
Yeah.
not dies, but it's like there's a storm and your crash and needs to be fixed. And you have to go through like a graveyard, and then you have to have the fortune teller turn you into a girl so you can get into She-Cola, the all-female warrior castle. Then you have to go back and then get up this mountain. It's like chapter 3 is just so intense.
Nice.
But it does have spaceships later on. There's
Alright,
there are aliens and stuff. Spoiler, I guess. But yeah, if you haven't played Star Tropics yet and you get this, play Star
Have
Tropics.
to play that. Okay. So there's also a Sega version coming out. It's called it's actually the Sonic 25th anniversary edition. And this one has 80 games. So more than double the Nintendo one. With such favorites as, of course, Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Spinball, Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3.
Wow. Which oh god, they had in my opinion, Mortal Kombat was okay. So the first Mortal Kombat on Sega, it had, or to me, I don't call it Mega Drive, I call it a Genesis.
Yep.
It had the blood, but like the sound and the graphics weren't as good. In Mortal Kombat 2, it was like I don't know. The console just didn't have. I mean, it had it had faster processing speed, but that didn't account for like all the actual sound and the everything else. Like I remember looking at pictures. If you look up like Mortal Kombat 2 Sega Genesis versus Mortal Kombat 2 Super Nintendo, it's the stages are more detailed, the characters are a little more detailed. SNES had better sound, all that jazz.
It's also got a cartridge slot in the top, so you can, if you've got some old Sega Mega Drive games, you can plug those in and play them.
Now, see, that's cool. They should have done that with the mini NES thing, because I still have some cards. My brother has the other ones. He has one of those duo things that plays like Super Nintendo and NES games.
Yep, I know what you mean. And it also has a SD card slot. So if you've got an SD card, you can put some more games on it and plug that in. So I mean, you'd be like, oh, the Sega one is obviously better. Unfortunately not, by the sound of it. From what I've read, it sounds like the Nintendo one is going to be an official Nintendo created product. Comes with HDMI. The Sega one only comes with the old AV plugs, which I'm fairly sure any new TV does not have an AV socket. That's your red, white, and blue cables.
Yeah, mine does.
Red, white, and yellow, sorry.
Yeah, the blue, green, red, that's
It's
something else.
RGB from memory. Yeah.
No, mine still has the red, yellow, white.
I'm not sure if mine does. I'd have to have a look at some point. Also, it's being made by a different company, which they've already made similar items in the past, and apparently they're really shit. I was actually watching a video before of the original Sonic, and the music was absolutely terrible. Which is kind of sad, because I mean, it was Green Hill Zone. I mean, how can you fuck up Green Hill Zone? But somehow they managed it. I'll put a link. There's a video in the news report from Games Radar, um, which is an English website. But yeah, so I mean, I would like this because I did play. Well, I played some Mega Drive stuff. That was pretty much. It was like if I was on school holidays or something, and my mum would be like, "Hey, let's rent a Mega Drive for a week," and I'm like, "Yay!" And then I play Mega Drive games for a week or so. I remember I got chicken pox once, and to keep me so I wouldn't be horrendously bored, I was able to. We hired one as well. I think I played Sonic. No, Sonic was built in. Do you remember that back in the days when consoles actually had games built into them?
I don't actually. I don't
Oh.
recall any of. Well,
Did the Nintendo not have any built-ins?
no, not the
Oh.
ones that I own.
Okay, the Mega
I
Drive
mean,
did.
it would come with a game.
Oh, okay, the Mega Drive actually had Sonic built in, so if you didn't have a cartridge in there, it would just load Sonic.
That's
Which was
pretty. That
cool.
that has to be like maybe like a third gen Genesis.
Uh,
Because
I don't know.
because I know there was like the first model Genesis where it has like a headphone jack on it and it has a volume control and it says like 16-bit like right
Yeah.
on thing and it has some red on it. And then there was the Model 2 Genesis, which was slightly smaller, all black, and that was the one that they designed. Like you can still plug a Sega CD into.
Oh, was that the one with like the cartridge slot had like a big circle on it or something? You know, it was
Yeah,
a big circle. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think they both had that
Okay.
kind of circle design.
Yeah.
But I know the second gen Genesis that's the one the Sega CD was designed for. So
Ah.
they fit because if you take your first model, it seems weird saying first gen Genesis. The first model Genesis, it can be connected to a Sega CD, but on the left side it kind of like hangs over the tray a little bit. It
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
slot right in there.
Oh, okay. Oh, it might have just been a Mega Drive thing then, maybe with the built-in game.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, shit. I played this. Yeah, I played the shit out of Sonic, and what else did I play while I had it? Oh, like Mickey Mouse and the Castle of Illusion. That was a good game. A couple of others, but yeah. I mean, obviously they're like, hey, people like nostalgia. Let's sell them some stuff.
Yeah, which I don't know. I think they're neat ideas, but I'm still kind of like I think they have a better idea with the Genesis one, doing the whole cartridge slot. Because like
Yeah.
I have some of my carts, and back home, my brother he has the rest of our collection more or less. So like if there's games that aren't built into it, then clearly you can play them. Or if people went out to like pawn shops or whatever and bought more, it would be more incentive to go and buy old cartridges, I guess.
Yeah.
I do know that the controller that comes with the NES one, that you can, the port it uses, it's not, they didn't just like use the same NES port for the controller. It uses the like Wii U controller ports, like the things that you would plug into like the nunchuck or the whatever for like the Wii or the Wii U or the Wii U gamepad. So you can use if you buy the NES Classic or whatever it's called, the controller that comes with it, you can plug it into your Wii U.
I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
And it will play whatever games you have downloaded from Virtual Console on Wii U.
Yeah.
You
So
can
if
play
you,
with that controller.
yeah, so if you want to relive your old playing on the NES, you can get one of those. But there we go.
But the question is now, because this is because you mentioned the console war, this is exactly how it happened. The NES came out. The NES came out first,
Yep.
as far as I know, and I know Sega's first console, the Master System.
Yep. I remember that one.
Yeah, I want to say it was released after. I know its specs were technically better, like it was capable of more colors, but because Nintendo had such a stranglehold on the market, the Master System just couldn't get up to snuff. So they came out with the Genesis or Mega Drive. From what I understand, when it came to America, like Mega Drive was already copyrighted by some other country, so they had to give it a different name, or not country,
I think that's why.
some
Yeah.
other company. So they had to give it a different name. So that's why I know everyone here in the States knows it as a Genesis. But yeah, they pushed that out, and that's when they did their whole Sega does what Nintendo don't. It's like we have 16 bits, we have faster this. Our game, look at how you know, and Nintendo's like, okay. So, and then they came out with the Super Nintendo, which still like it had the like its processing speed still wasn't as fast, but like I said before, like the sound and color and the graphics in general were stronger on the Super Nintendo for most games.
Yeah.
Like most multi-platforms look better on a Super Nintendo, sounded better.
Mm.
So, so if it went, NES, Genesis, Super NES, does that mean Nintendo's now going to come out with a mini Super NES?
Maybe. They haven't really said anything, but if this one sells well, they might do the other one. I mean, ever since the Dreamcast tanked Sega, they've pretty much been like, okay, we just need money. Here's all our properties. Do as you wish.
Yeah, we're
And
just
that's
going to
why.
make games now.
Yeah. Whereas Nintendo have been very strict in hanging on to everything, except for Pokemon. But now they know it's like, well, if we start letting stuff out for other consoles and stuff, they might actually do alright. But yeah, I mean, over here it was more Sega. Nintendo. I didn't really see a heck of a lot of Nintendo things. But
Yeah, I want to say it was 50-50 here. It kind of depended on where you lived and whoever, basically, whichever kid, like if one kid got a Super Nintendo before everybody else and he talked about how cool it was, that would kind of push everyone else to get one, or vice versa if they got a
oh yeah,
Genesis. But there's always the odd man out who would be like, no, I'm going to go get this. And then you're like, well, you're dumb because your games are stupid. And then I go over there and see Splatterhouse 2 and
they're actually really good.
yeah, like there's quite a few games I like playing on when I went to my friend's house. Me and him would always play as Genesis, and
Yeah.
he had some robot game I can't remember the name of. That one was really cool.
Alex the Kid, that was always a good one. In Wonderland.
Sonic and Knuckles and Knuckles the Echidna and Knuckles the Echidna 3.
That was fine. I didn't mind Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. It's when they started introducing that fucking Shadow and all the other bullshit characters. It's like, don't bring in all these shitty characters.
Oh
But
god,
that's another day. No, I could rant about Sonic all day, but we should.
oh, I was like, no, just real quick. I was watching that. I think it was like a Did You Know Gaming about like Sonic 06.
Yeah.
I was watching somebody. I feel so bad for forgetting who was talking about it, but it's basically like in the design notes for Silver the Hedgehog, basically says make him cool like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if I was working on a Sonic game and someone just dropped that on my table, and then it's like make him cool like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. I just walk.
You just be like, see ya, I'm out.
No, I'm going back.
You just throw it in the bin on the way out.
I'll go back to country with farm family and go back to farming a rice field. I did not become a game designer to make a Trunks of the Hedgehog.
I know. Never mind. Let's move on because we could rant about Sonic or anything from any else. One last quick story to wrap up. Final Fantasy 15 comes out next month. Would you believe?
It's hard to believe.
There. We're nearly there. And of course, because every single game in existence has to have it, there is some DLC coming out after the game releases. Hasn't been a huge amount on it. The American and European stores just have a season pass. Excuse me. The Japanese store has a little bit of details on what it might be. First one is called the Booster Pack. Then we've got Episode Gladiolus, whatever his name is. There's a Holiday Pack, which is probably coming out for Christmas. Then there's one about Ignis, one about Prompto, and then one just called an Expansion Pack. So it's safe to assume that there's going to be 3 DLCs relating to the other 3 characters, apart from who's the main guy? Shit.
Noctis.
Noctis, there you go. I must be a fan because I can remember all the names.
Now, I don't know. It seems really weird for me, a RPG game like Final Fantasy 15 having a season pass.
Yeah, well, that's something else. Well, did 13? No, the original 13 had no DLC. 13.2 did, but it was just
13.2 did.
Monsters
it was
you could get.
Yeah, monsters for the arena and also weapons.
Yeah,
there's a couple weapons you could buy, and some costumes.
Lightning Returns. Were any of them actually story related? I can't remember.
I can't. I don't really. Here's the weird thing about me in the 13 trilogy. I actually like 13 the most out of all of them. I don't like 13 too. I don't like the monster collecting. And
I did
Lightning
like
Returns,
the time travel in 13.2 was fun, but I like time travel, so
I do too usually, but the monster collecting, like if it just would have had a
yeah.
third character, I probably would have liked it way
Mm,
more. But anyway, yeah, Lightning Returns. I know it had a bunch of costume DLC.
that's right. Meow meow choco chow. Although that one was free though, from memory.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's still striking me as odd. Allow me to
Yeah.
stutter as I try to say the sentence.
But
Yeah, blah blah blah. Episodes about the characters, that seems like it could be pretty cool. I know if anyone's out there, if you watch Brotherhood Final Fantasy on YouTube or Crunchyroll
mm,
or wherever, it's they're kind of already doing that.
yeah.
Like the second episode is basically about Prompto and how he met Noctis and how they became friends. It's actually a really inspiring episode in a weird way.
It
Like
is.
I would recommend watching it. So yeah, maybe it'll be like side quests or side stories. Because I know, like, if you go back and look at the re-releases of Final Fantasy IV, or they added those character dungeons where you play as just one character in a dungeon, you get extra items and whatever,
Oh, okay.
like
So
extra
stuff like
like
that.
yeah, stronger weapons and crap like that.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be something like that. You play just as Prompto, or you go and help Prompto, or you go and help Ignis, and it's like some special story dungeon for them, and at the
Yeah.
end they get whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I can see why they'd want more money, but it's just the fact that it's been 10 years plus.
Yeah, it seems like this is a really bad move on their part
Yeah.
because it's
Uh,
like
yeah. I mean, in terms of cost, it's about $25, so it's on the cheaper side for DLC stuff that I've seen. But still, I mean, you would hope that like if anyone got the super duper collector edition, that they'd get that included.
it does not come included.
Uh,
If you buy the any of the collector editions,
yeah,
like even that one that's I don't remember how much, but the one that comes with like the
like
Noctis figure and
$250 or something.
yeah, like that should if they're doing a season pass, at least that one should at least come with the season
Oh yeah.
pass.
Well, even the one with the Kingsglaive copy should come with it too, because that's
Yeah,
quite expensive. That's the one I'm going to go for, I think.
yeah,
Well,
same here.
the fact that I can't get the other one because I don't think they actually released it over here, and B, it was like $250.
Yeah, he's Poe.
Well, I'm not poor; it's just hard to get. But yeah,
Well, it's when you have to spend money on things like food and electricity, internet.
cars, yeah, all that fun stuff. But there we go. All right, so yeah, so that's I mean, sure, DLC. Hopefully, it's
At,
fun.
yeah, and at the very least, even if it's comes out and there's previews for it and it looks like trash, hopefully it won't. Like, I hope they're not doing what people suspect they do with other games in DLC, where it's like, why wasn't this just part of the main game?
Yeah,
You know, hopefully they're not doing that. Hopefully this is new content they made like on the side, and it's not just stuff cut out of 15. Because I don't think they should be cut
oh
after
god, no.
10 years. There should be
No.
nothing cut out of
Yeah,
15.
this has to. I'm pretty sure, and I think I've said this before, that if this game doesn't do well, I think this is the last Final Fantasy we'll see.
Yeah, more than likely.
Which would be sad, because I mean they can do good stuff when they don't
Yeah.
fuck it up.
Or this will be the revitalizing
Well, I
the
suppose
Breath
apart
of
from,
Life.
we'll probably just see remakes of all the old ones.
Yeah, still have the 7 remake to look forward to.
Yeah, so they'll probably do an 8 and a 9. 10 doesn't need one because I did the remastered version. Oh, we have got the 12 comings next year. That'll be good.
We do. Yeah, that's gonna. I'm Zodiac Job System. I want to play that
That's looking good.
badly.
But yeah, well, we managed to fill with the two of us. We still managed to fill in like 40 minutes. So
Hey,
good job,
that's
us.
pretty okay.
Yeah, so we'll probably wrap up there because that's probably everything. As I say, we could rant about stuff for hours, but not today. I'm sure that people don't want to listen to us talking for many hours. Unless you do, then let us know and we'll do longer ones. But yeah, all right, we'll wrap up there. Thanks for watching / listening. Check us out on the web, www.pixelexile.com. You can check us on social media, which will be in the description. You can have a look at mine and Josh's Twitter as well if you want. That'll be in the description too. Mine's pretty boring. Josh shit posts occasionally. So if you wanna check us out, I might try and do some more stuff. I don't know. Maybe if I find an interesting story or something, I might link it up. But there we go. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will catch you next time. See ya.
Later.